Okay, joined today with Tigran Edinijklian.
That's right.
Tigran is a very important part of our company. He's our resident rug expert. So anytime a very unique, a very special rug, carpet, tapestry that enters our building, it must go through the hands and the eyes of Tigran. So Tigran, welcome. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
The first time you're joining me.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you. Happy to have you. So I think let's start talking about your past, your history, how you got into this business, your experience. So I think everyone of our audience would like to learn more about you, yourself, and your history. So please go for it.
I started in the rug business 1980 when I arrived to United States, and I started working for a company called Tigran, which was a high-end retail company. And they were British owned, and they had very specific and very rare merchandise. Their rugs weren't from New York area. They were like shipped from all over Europe, and not too many people have seen them before they arrived. So it was very rare kind of a collection, and that actually was the beginning of me seeing beautiful things and real old historic rugs and tapestries, and basically learning what is the actual obasan should look like. Why is the 18th century obasan so much different than 19th century obasan, or historic Tabriz rugs from early 19th century? Why are their colors are so different than early 19th century?
So 1980, and Tigran comes to the United States. At that point, do you have any background in the rug business, or is it, or like how do you get into Tigran? What's the force that gets you into the rug business with Tigran?
Well, it was economics. It was my father's friend was the manager of Tigran, so he took me under his wing, and he said, "Okay, so you are an artist. You're never going to make any money being an artist. You can work in the rug business, and then you can figure out what else you want to do afterwards." So
that's great. So you had an art background. So
I went to an art school in Soviet Armenia,
which is very helpful.
It does. It's because you learn art history and aesthetics, and looking at the rugs. It kind of helps you to recognize what's better than the other.
So you get to Tigran, the family friend brings you in, starts teaching you, and you're exposed to all these beautiful rugs. They had auctions back then?
They had auctions, which once in a while we would attend to buy. But the buying from the auction meant that you were fighting other people in New York. So most of our merchandise would come from Europe, where we wouldn't pay that much money. It would come from estate sales, from chateaus or somewhere else. Yeah. But instead of auctions, that I was exposed to, like the top society of New York was the antiques, winter antique show, which was in 68th Street Armory. Mm-hmm. And it would happen every year in January. And that was a big deal. You know, we would have a booth, and then other people who were other antique dealers, China, furniture, all those people would be like together in this place, and it would be a big opening. It would be a big deal. You know, the top of the New York society would be at the opening, you know, just just walking around and and it was a charity event too. So, that kind of exposed me to even more other antiques and what's involved in, furnishing a room, and you're going to somebody's house, you already start recognizing the rug is going down. A Chippendale chair is sitting on top of it. Americana furniture is on the other corner of the room. So it was for me. It was an education working for Dildarian.
Yeah, of course. So early on, your early days at Dildarian was rug sales.
Rug sales, yes, rug sales and sometimes restoration. I learned some restoration in the back room where they were working on rugs.
So they did their own restoration work
Yes.
back then. Oh, beautiful. Good. So that, you have a little bit of experience of what the rug should look like.
And what should be done to it, Yeah. What method you should use working on a rug.
So how long were you there?
10 years.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive. And then after Dildarian, you moved on. As we know, you moved on to another firm where you did some work over there.
Yes. I worked for a Megarian for a period of time, and we did some a lot of inventory things because they were making Egyptian rugs.
Yeah.
And they needed their the place in order, so I was involved in that. And then eventually Phillip Kastikian, who already knew me through Dildarian, asked me to come and join his firm.
So what year was that? When did you come over here?
93.
1993. Wow. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 33 years now.
Almost, yeah. Yeah, it is 33 years.
This is your 33rd year. Wow.
Time flies.
In this day and age, that's pretty impressive to be with one firm for 33 years. It's a pretty long time.
It is, but it doesn't feel like I've been here that long. It just time flies, and every day is a different. Is an interesting day, so it doesn't.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I can attest to that. I've been here now 21 years, right? So
yes.
we've been working together for the last 21 of the 33.
That's right.
And again, it's just like how did that happen, right?
There's so many changes happened or has happened with this company, from just the way we modernize ourselves and the way we went with the times, with the upheavals, with the economy. So, we're always changing. And I think that's why we still are a relevant company in the business. And that's why we still exist.
We're trying.
Still 140 years.
Yeah. We're celebrating our 100.
There's many, many companies who were, they're not around anymore.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't change with times.
Yeah. I think adapting is key, right? You have to be able to adapt to the current times, the current markets, and the world that you live in today, because you either adapt or you get run over, right?
That's right. If you have to not do anything with any antiques anymore, you just have to. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't just stop existing.
So, because we're talking about the history, the 140 years, the 33 years that you've been with the company, give me one of your fondest memories from, could be 30 years ago, 33 years ago. Give me one of your fondest memories about the company, about could be anything, an experience that you had here at Kastikian. It could have been a one of a kind, just a rug that you had never seen in your life, and now all of a sudden you have to restore it. Share an experience.
Well, the job that we did with Ralph Lauren, I would say it's kind of historical.
Yeah.
I don't know have you talked about it on this podcast
we
yet?
We actually have, yeah. We've touched on it, yeah.
Being on a delivery was a specific experience, and he had amazing rugs, and that's one of the interesting moments. Going to Leon Block's house with you,
Oh yeah.
that was another one which they had amazing rugs and antiques. Um, yes, I mean there's so many moments because Kristiken is so tapped to like to the top of the uh, society with the rugs. It's so many moments. It's just like very hard to say one moment, but I would say on yearly basis we would get things that are rare, museum quality.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I share the same feeling with you. It's sometimes it's hard to pinpoint because there's so many that constantly. It's like which one do you remember?
You're right.
I recently was having a conversation with friends, and they're like, "Well, friends who are watching the podcast, and they're like, tell us more about some of the celebrities that you've worked with." And I'm just like, which one?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the rugs. We see so many, beautiful rugs. I mean, just look at this, the one that we have down today.
Yeah.
When you're inspecting rugs that are coming in, and I'll get a call and say, "Hey, there's just come out here, take a look at this."
Right.
That happens often. It happens often, and when you're constantly going through the motions and you're constantly seeing these beautiful rugs, it's really hard to keep track of in your head. It's not one and done.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, oh, we had this beautiful.
It's not a yearly occurrence.
Yeah.
It's
almost daily.
Yeah.
Thank God.
At least
it's almost a daily occurrence. So, tell us about your experience with auction houses, and have you worked with them, and what was that experience like?
We worked with both Christie's and Sotheby's, but I mainly worked with Christie's because we were close with the when they had a rug department and they had specific rug sales. They would call me to write repairs for specific rugs, just in case whoever buys them later would have us repair it.
Yeah.
And we were quite successful with that. It went on in mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Before the crash.
I remember going with you. We would get the book, right? We would look at the book and we would see the rugs. But a couple of times pre-auction,
yes,
you and I went down into Midtown to look at the rugs.
Yeah, in Rockefeller Center
with our little notepads.
Right, but Elizabeth, her name is Elizabeth Parker, and she, obviously doesn't. She's not in. There's no rug department in Sotheby's, Christie's anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and she would basically think of like who's going to buy it, and she would just call us to just give that estimate. So when the sale happens, we could get the job.
Yeah, I remember once it was a lot of rugs. It was like 13 rugs that we went to go pick up from auction for one buyer. Yeah. You remember that?
Yes.
And they wanted everything in pristine condition. They wanted all the repairs, all the cleaning. So the minute the auction was done, they held on to them until the end of the auction. We picked up the rugs, we brought them here. I believe we already had the proposals ready because they had
approved the proposals.
They had approved the proposal, yeah.
Pre-auction, and it was great. That was a great order.
Yeah. Those were the days, huh? Not so many.
Unfortunately, they don't do like specific sales anymore for rugs in New York. They do it in London, but we're kind of far.
We're far away. Maybe we should make a trip out to London.
Just stick in London. I think that's the future.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll think about that for expansion.
You have kids who can do that
out in London. We'll keep that in mind. Was there an experience you had with a project, a restoration project or cleaning, whatever, service related, where you said, oh no, we have a problem. And I got to reach out to Phillip or Greg to figure this one out.
Right.
Share one of these problem stories with us.
It happens. The problem is when the restoration is not going the way you want it to go, and we have to find another restorer to finish the job, and that and that's and there's a deadline.
Yeah, the deadlines.
Yeah.
Those are big hurdles to get over
Right.
because people will say, well, I want this rug. They send it into us for cleaning, right? And we look at the rug and we're like, well, you got to repair this, you got to repair this, you got to repair this. And they're like, you know what? I'm having a 4th of July party. So if you tell me you could deliver on July 2nd before my guests arrive, I'm going to approve all the repairs. So we look at it and we're like, we review it with the technician and the restorer, and they say, yeah, it's not a problem. I have a month, right? But in that month, other jobs come in, or
That's
they have
right.
previous jobs that they had to finish, or the rug is not as forgiving as they want it to be. So
it's much more work than we anticipate.
Yeah. So now it's June 21st. We're mentally preparing to inspect a finalized restoration. It's completed, and the tech's not even halfway done.
That's right.
We have a problem.
Mega problem. You can't put 2 people on the same spot to work on that. Now, one person has to do the job.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it has happened.
But I think both luckily and because also that's how we're set up, we have an abundance of resources. So, as you said, you can't have 2 hands touching one rug. Right. It's just going to look different. So, as a solution, and I kind of remember the project we're talking about, as a solution, what we do is we take away all other work from the technician so that they're focusing. Listen, here, we need you to focus on this rug, okay? We need you to come in on Saturday. We need you to work on Sunday. We'll make up
late hours.
Yeah, it's going to be late days, and you're going to work 6 days a week because we've promised the client that we got to get it out. And we'll call the client and we'll say, look, we can't come July 2nd, but we're going to come on the 3rd. Is that okay? Yes, sure, no problem, as long as you're coming on the 3rd. And we figure it out, right? Just like any successful business, there's challenges. There's challenges in production. There's challenges in repairs. There's challenges in cleaning. The fibers might not be as forgiving, right, but we'll figure it out and we'll get it done. And hence the 140-year history. And that's why our clients continue to come back and their families continue to come back. The children, the grandchildren. Right. You and I know of, at least within our time, 3rd-generation clients.
That's because we are honest with them and take care of them. We never just say, too bad. The job, you don't like it, too bad. Whatever. Whatever.
Well, yeah, and any business could do that, right? They could but they won't last long.
Whatever it takes sometimes, even if we're not going to make money on that order.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's part of business.
But that's for the future, the next generation. The people talk, and they always say nice things about us, even though they don't like some of the jobs we have done.
Yeah, but overall our success rate is pretty high.
That's right. It's all about quality.
This is, one of the metrics that I look at often and I review is what I call a claim rate, right? Our claim rates for the amount of rugs that we're pushing out every day throughout the doors, in and out, where there's cleaning, repairs. There's going to be a claim rate, obviously, but there has to be a percentage, and when we're below the percentage, it's you tolerate it and it's acceptable. And knock on wood, our claim rate is extremely low, and that's because of you know, all the measures that we've put in place, the inspection process, pre-inspection, after inspection, the photography, um, and of course the technicians that we've had.
That's right.
And we train, and we constantly train, and we just our goal is to make sure that we can produce a beautiful outcome and experience for the client. I think it's two-handed, because you could produce a beautiful restoration, but if the client has a negative experience,
That's right. If the service is not up to par, clients they won't call you back.
no. And we know that our clients expect the best. They come to us for a reason. They pay for the service, and they expect the best. And we expect from ourselves.
That's right.
To execute, and that's been a part of our success. What have you seen changed? What's the major change you've seen in the industry?
Well, it's from mostly the way the rugs have gotten, the materials have changed with the rugs, and also, hardly any antique rugs. I mean, they come in, but not in the same level.
Yeah, I mean, I just to your point, we would get in this oversized Ziegler Sultanabad.
Mm-hmm.
Our eyes would light up. It's art on the floor. Right. It's beautiful. And we would constantly see, Louis XIV Aubusons, and it's
right.
just beautiful, beautiful rugs. And we're seeing less and less of that.
Yes, there's less and less of it, because it's just the modern design is different, and many young people go with the modern design, and it's the look. It's modernism, and we times change, and we go with the times, and that's one of the strengths of this company, because we have keep on going with the times as opposed to staying back.
What do you think? Do you think the Oriental design, Oriental rugs, the Oriental look will return at some point?
Yeah, there's cycles. I've seen it actually once already between the 80s and early 2000s, and it's probably coming back again. It's not going to be all Oriental rugs in a room. It's going to be modern and mix of modern and Oriental, and just the way the designer works with that problem makes it more successful, and that's why we can't just give up.
Yeah, I think it's going to take one or maybe a couple of really good designers who are going to incorporate.
It's just
an antique
trendsetter has to do.
Once they set that trend, the look's going to come back,
and then the younger people are going to say, "Oh, this is cool."
But with technology, what's going to happen is they're going to remake those beautiful Zieglers,
right? They did already
in a reproduction, yeah, and they're constantly getting better at it. The reproductions are getting better and better, and they're so. But the look itself, it's the black, white, gray, today's market.
Mm-hmm.
The tufted pieces, the shiny blacks, the whites, the grays. It's kind of, to me at least, it's getting a little old.
I think it reached its peak already, and people want something else nowadays.
It will come back. It will come back. Your favorite rug, your favorite design. If you had to pick one, I know you have many. You have many, but if you had to pick one,
I don't know why I'm like an Aubusson fan, from direct to our period. I have no idea why.
Why not?
It's just a geometric French style rug. It's wrong, but.
And what about your favorite to work on? Which rugs do you like repairing, restoring, and seeing the actual rug come back to life?
If it's a very old English Axminster handmade rug, is amazing. I remember, I think we went to Mrs. Reitzman's house
Yeah.
on Fifth Avenue, and she had a big um, uh, Adams style Axminster from 1780s.
Was that the one in the bedroom or the living room?
Living room.
The living room. The bedroom was wall to wall. I remember the
bedroom
living room.
was.
Remember the furniture that was on that rug?
There was a piece of furniture that was over $1 million. Then asked us to cut around the carpet.
Yeah,
and then replace it without moving the furniture.
The room was dark too, not very well lit, but it did have huge windows. I remember that apartment very well.
Yeah,
it was because I remember going up the service entrance, and the house staff, they were all in uniform. It was very impressive. It was like out of a movie.
Yeah, and
she had the house manager, and then she had like 3 ladies in the kitchen with uniform.
Yeah,
it's very impressive.
And a Renoir painting in the living room. The cat.
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
Different times.
Yeah, but I remember that job, and I remember the rugs, and she had amazing rugs, amazing. Yeah. And we have many stories like this that we could share, and you know. It's over your 33 years here. It's you've seen a lot.
I enjoyed working here,
and you're still going to enjoy working here to many, many more years. Like we said, it's the 140th anniversary, and God willing, you'll be here to celebrate the 150th with us as well. Either that or you'll be on the beach somewhere relaxing. Right?
I can come for the party.
Oh, there's plenty of time to talk about that. But Tigran, thank you very much. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Sharing some of your stories and some of your experience with us. And I'd like to hopefully do a few more with you.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.